Hi guys, it's Annie back, and as promised I'm in my workshop today. Just trying to get you so you can see as much as possible, and I'm going to be putting together the Xander kit. He's all finished. His eyelashes obviously need trimming. I've just cut his hair this morning. You don't want to see that because it's a bit of a mess under his but it's been cut. And I will wash it and style it properly, but he's had his hair cut, so I've just put this little hat on just to protect his hair while I'm putting him together. So I thought I'd let you join in and see how I put my babies together. Now this is just obviously my method of doing it. Other artists have their own method. He's had his neck ring put on already. What I do for that is I warm up a couple of rice sacks. I just let his head sit in there for about 6 minutes or so, 5-6 minutes, till his neck's is nice and squidgy, so it's a bit more pliable, and then I put his neck ring on. So he's already had his neck ring put on. And what I've done to save a little bit of time, I've already waited and done one leg and I've done one arm, okay? So I've written on my little bit of notepaper what exactly the weight is in there and his arm. So it's just to save a little bit of time really, and then I can show you how I would do the other ones. So I am, as I said, I'm in my workshop today, so excuse the mess in here, but this is why I do the putting my babies together in here, because it does make quite a lot of mess. So I do it in here out the way, and I can keep all my tools and my materials all in one place. So we're going to do a leg. So the other leg, what we're going to do, we're going to put the very fine, very fine, it is really fine, it's almost like sand, it's very fine glass, very fine glass, okay? So that will go into his leg. Now his other leg was 215 grams, so we need to measure the same. So he's got equal size, equal weight in legs. Let me just move you around so you can see a bit better. That's better, isn't it? You can see. Yeah, so we want to make sure he has the same amount. So I use a little funnel and just put some in there like that until that goes in. All the way down. Okay, and then what I'll do is give it a good tap and also give his foot a good squidgy, and your foot, make sure all that very fine glass goes right down to his toes and fills his foot, because we don't want any sort of pockets that are not filled, which I don't think it would happen with that because it is so fine, that stuff, it's really fine. Okay, so I think he's going to need a little bit more I usually do up to the knee or just over, depending on the baby. Then I have like normal kitchen scales here, so I'm just going to zero them and just see what that leg weighs. 208. Right, so we need a tiny bit more in there, just a tiny bit more, because I'm doing it in grams to be very precise rather than ounces. So I want to make sure. 200, what did I say, 15? It's 213, so if I just put a tiny bit more in, we should. We're getting there. 214. Right, this should be it now. Oh my goodness, how can that happen with that tiny bit? No, it says 217, just a tiny bit back. This is, I am so fussy, honestly. I'm a bit OCD when it comes to this. I think my scales are just, you can't cope with the, right, there you go, 215. Right, so that leg now with the glass in there weighs 215 grams, and then with the stuffing it weighed 232. So what I do now is I use this stuffing, which is good quality stuffing, but they're not so fine, if you know what I mean. It's not so fine as this stuff, which is just got no bits in it at all. This is a more sort of a denser, I suppose, yeah, a denser sort of stuffing, which I use for the arms, leg and head. And then I use this stuff, the really soft fluffy stuff for the belly, or for the body. So we're going to put some of this in the leg. And as I said, this is just my method of doing babies. Can you just, I've positioned the tripod on the table, so I'm trying to go on tiptoe to see, make sure you can see what I'm doing. So we're going to put this in. We don't want to overstuff it because we don't want the limb to be really, we won't be able to get some sort of squidginess in the leg there. So you can see what I mean by the squidginess. So we should, so what was it, 232 was the total amount with that. So let me just put that back onto 0 on the scales. Right, 229. Obviously the legs can be a slightly different shape, so sometimes with the actual stuffing bit it can be slightly different. There we go, I think that's enough. I don't want to overstuff it. That's 231, but we don't want to overstuff. Make sure they're the same. Yeah, they are. Just put a tiny bit more in and that'll be right. So should there be 230? Yeah, 232. Right, okay. So there's his leg, okay. And then what I do for the top, just to, I mean, some people use these plugs, but I don't tend to use them, to be honest. Yeah, to be honest, I prefer to use, I usually cut up a bit of, what I do is I use my little guide here to sort of guide what size the leg is. So it would have been that size, I think I used. So I guide it and then just cut little circles for out of fleece material or really soft material. You could use any sort of good quality material really. And then I have a glue gun, and I usually do my gluing away from the table, but because I will just show you what I do. So we're just gonna put some glue on here and try not to burn myself, because I usually end up burning myself at some point when I'm doing my babies. As you know from my videos, how many burns I get from cooking. I'm terrible at burning myself. That one's healing nicely now. At one point I think it looked like I'd been self-abusing, honestly. I had so many burns on me. Right, so that is that leg done, okay? There he is. So that can go on there, and then we're going to do the same with the arm. And we had 132 grams of the very fine stuff in here. Doesn't need as much in the arm because it's only, you've got tiny arms, haven't you, baby? So I think that'll probably be enough. Just try and guess it at the moment. I think it is important to get obviously your limbs weighting the same either side. Yeah, I think it's really important actually. I think that's a bit too much in there actually, that one. Took it out. Right, okay, so again I give it a good old squeeze, make sure that a bit of sand there. Make sure that it gets down to your fingers on in the baby. So I hope you can see everything. Yeah, you can. Make sure it goes right down to the fingers and hands. Give it a good tap. Right, so we'll weigh this one, see what this weighs. 132 I want. 132? No, more than that. It's only 125 at the minute. 132. Oh my gosh. Right, okay, 139. Shows you how accurate these scales are. 134. Okay, I'm just going to have to bang my nose. Excuse me. Right. 133. I think actually I'm going to, because I'm going to be fussing backwards and forwards. 130. Yeah, I'm going to leave it 130. It's at 33. It's close enough, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. See what I mean? A bit OCD, aren't I, really? But I do like things done properly. Oh my goodness, come on. A bit more. Right. There, yay, right, 132, exactly the same. Just give it another little bit of a squeeze down. Okay, then we're just going to put some more stuff in. So this process, I think, is, I do spend quite a lot of time doing this because I think the overall effect of your baby really is worth spending the time doing this to get it right. A nice squidgy, sort of nicely put together baby. I don't compromise in any or the fillings that I use. I always use the best quality fillings that you can buy. I mean, I've seen all sorts in dolls before actually. I've seen sponges and yeah, I just don't understand it because what did Mum, I had one doll once, God, what was she stuffed with? Oh, it was awful stuff. Don't know what it was. It was like these 136, that right, it's exactly the same weight. And again, we've just got a little, if I can find it, a little thing to do is to seal it up with. So we just do the glue again. I'll just show you. And the thing with using the glue gun is that if you need to take the if you need to take these off, they're quite easy to get off, which is quite good. Because if sometimes, you know, somebody might want to reweight their baby, I don't know, they might want to do a different weight when they get home, so you can do that. It's easy taken off with the, just make sure I don't get any glue anywhere else. Okay, so that's all the 4 limbs done. So we're now going to do the body. So what I use for the body is I always do, I've got this stuff from Tinkerbell's, actually came from, it's like a stocking material. I'll show you, that's what it's like. Okay, it's nice stretchy stocking material. It's quite wide, so you've got plenty of room to do whatever you want in the baby. So I've cut a piece to the size I want, and I've also sewn one end up. I've just sewn it on the sewing machine. So the cut size is usually, I give a good, obviously a good bit for the bottom, and then I've got the top, obviously, so you can fold it over and tie it at the top when you need to. So the first thing I would do is put the legs on. So obviously then I can then put that inside the body cavity, so I can get the legs right. So I need some ties that I now my ties that I use are the ultra thin metal cable ties from Tinkerbell's again, which are they're quite small. If you can see that, they're quite small at the top here, which means you haven't got, and they're quite nice and smooth as well, so you haven't got that big bulky tie at the top. So I think they've got to go that way, isn't it? So you've got to figure out which way they've got to bend into your body, but sometimes they go one way and the other, so make sure you do it the right way around. So you've got oh, hang on, we're doing legs, aren't we, not arms? We're doing your legs first. Right, that's it. So in that goes, and then I will pull that up to there, and I usually just cut off, because I don't really want all those. Where's my scissors gone? I don't really need at the moment. I just need enough, obviously, to be able to tighten it up when I come to it. So I just cut a bit off there, and then do the same the other side. Make sure, see, this one is going the right way round, so you have to just check. And obviously, being that they're smaller at the top, it's easy to get into the seams, because what I do once I've assembled all the baby is actually then go and put the ties in the seam of the body so that you don't see them, which I think is nice to do. Right, so we want a leg. Make sure we've got the right way round leg. So this leg is going to go on here. Now when you tighten these up, excuse me, you don't want them too tight so you can't move the limb at all, but obviously you've got to be tight enough. And then what I tend to do is go into the body, I don't know if you can see that, is go into the body and then just make sure the seam is pulled through to the other side like that on the leg, so that it sits nicely on there. Alright, so that's probably about right actually, that one. So I will test them all properly when I get to the end. And then this one. Baby, that one. Right, okay. Again, I'm just going to go into the body and just make sure that seam is not caught at all inside the, which it isn't. Great, that's lovely. So we've got those two legs on now. Okay, so they should be about right. So let me just cut a bit more for these. Don't need them big things. Right, okay, so what we do now is we're going to put this inside the body. Get it right down. Okay. Come on, there we go. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do now is put my baby fat in there. I love baby fat. I really like it in the bottom of the baby. It just gives such a squidgy. Nice baby, and I've got a good jam jar full there to put in. So in it goes. And down. Yeah, pick her up. Pick him up and shake him. Make sure that it all goes down to the bottom. No, not like Ben, no, I don't know. I don't want to run out of time. Okay, so come on, stuff you down. So this is what we're doing now, is get this bubble fat right the way down there into his bottom, and this has got the nice squidgy, the ruche bottom, so you can really get. I think I'm going to need another one. I think on there. Put a whole another one in there. Okay. Oh baby. Just give it a real good push down with your fingers to make sure that bottom is nicely squidged up. Yeah, lovely. Lovely. Right, okay. So then what I'll do, as I said, I use this very fine stuff now to do the body. You can see it's really, really nice and soft. So I'm going to put a bit down first of all, just to in here, just down the front a little bit, just to and just down the back, just to cure that bubble fat in the right place. Make a little, also make a little nest in there really, because we're going to put some weight in now. All the bubble fat's got weight, but I'm going to put some weight in. Okay, so the weighting I'm going to put in now, because this is quite a small baby, to get some weight in, I'm going to use some of, oh gosh, it's heavy, some of this, which is the, it's from Gloriality, it's steel weighting, really heavy. That little bag is a 1 kilo bag. So what we're going to use is, I buy these 40 denier tights. I buy them on Amazon actually, which I think is the cheapest, one of the cheapest place I found them. But obviously I want the fairly dense tights, so that the fairly dense tights, so that the weight in that doesn't actually fall through. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut a bit about, because what I do, I fold it over twice, so probably about that much, I think. Okay, so we're going to put some weight in now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put my little jar on here and do it to 0, and I'm going to change the unit to ounces, so I know how many ounces. So I'm probably going to do about, what we've got here, 13 ounces. So we need a new bag. 13 ounces. So I'm going to put probably about £1 weight in the body. Do it over the bag. So always a good idea when you're undoing these bags of anything like glass or whatever, to do it over a bowl, just in case that happen where the bag split or whatever, and then you've got the And then you've got the problem of waiting everywhere. I'm going to put a bit more in there. I want to get to £1, so 16. There we go. 16. Oh my gosh. Just maybe I don't know. Yeah, it does need it. It does need £1. We want this baby to be about £5-6 when he's. So then we put the stocking over the top of that. That can go in like that, and then we board it up. So give it a knot there. And I'm going to turn it over. Just do another knot on this other side. There. There you go. Let's give that a really good pull so we don't nice and tight. Not going to come undone. Right, so that little bag of weight, that £1 weight, is going to go in the body there. Okay, that's nice. Right, so we're going to put some more of this lovely stuffing in. I'm just going to see what the time is on my. I can't see. Right, what I'm going to do, I'm going to stop here and I'm going to do another video, okay? So I don't want to run out of time, so I'm going to just stop this now and then we'll do part 2, okay? So bye.